So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the newest OCG metagame report, which features the new deck building pack Phantom Revengers. So that means Eniacraft, Killer Tune, or Cool Tune, as well as, what was the name of the third one? I forgot. The fusion ones, the Hecka Hands, are now out in the OCG, as well as the Synchron structure deck. So we're gonna take a look at it. It is without much of a surprise that still Yummy and Vanquish Soul are still the top 2 performing decks in the OCG. I will say though, the OCG has gotten an announcement for their next ban list. I think it's releasing tomorrow. Let me quickly confirm that. They did, because they usually get an announcement for the announcement day of the ban list, and I think this time it was September 15th or something. No, it's September 21st. September 21st. Konami has confirmed the official card game's next limit regulations for October 1st will be announced on September 21st. Okay, not... Oh, September 15th with our ban list. Our ban list is tomorrow, in effect. Yeah, no, theirs is going to be announced next week, which is, yeah, today, next week. So maybe we'll see some significant changes for this, because, of course, Yummy and Vanquish Soul have been the top dogs in the OCG for such a long time now, it feels like. But maybe some of the developments underneath those decks are going to be, you know, interesting to take a look at, because we see Sky Striker creeping up in 3rd place here with 10% representation, which is not bad by any means. We see Draco Tail in a bunch of different variations being represented. We see Lunalight being pretty well represented, Malice, but then we see Eniacraft here. Just a couple of Eniacrafts, just a couple of Killer Tunes. No Hecka Hands, really. Yeah, I'm not spawning any Hecka Hands anywhere. No one even tried it. We see 2 Radiant Typhoon, which is Magnificestorm. With Hecka Hands, I mean, the interesting part about Hecka Hands is not whether the deck itself is playable, but more so, do people play the hand trap? But it doesn't seem like a super graveyard heavy format, so maybe not. But the new hand trap is definitely pretty good. Anyways, Yummy, I assume there's not much here for... We don't have to look at Yummy too much. That's just a very standard build. Post Doom of Dimension for Yummy, as well as Vanquish Soul. Both of these decks are pretty standardized at this point, to be honest. This deck, I was maybe expecting to play the new hand trap, because it is a dark monster, I believe. So that could have made sense maybe in the side deck, but it doesn't seem that great in the current format. So, yeah. Sky Striker. This is what I was referring to earlier. This is awesome. Sky Striker is playing the new Radiant Typhoon quick play spell trade-in, basically, because this is just 2 spells in the graveyard. This is awesome. They're playing a little MST package with the new Magnificestorm cards. I'm still calling them Magnificestorm. I know they're going to be called Radiant Typhoon, but this is something I want to look into, because this is something we could hypothetically do in the TCG as well. And we are going to get Doom of Dimensions before YCS Lil. And Sky Striker is anticipated to be a viable deck for our format. So I think this is something to be looked into. So let's see what they have to say about it. So Sky Striker runs plenty of quick play spells among their arsenal, and Radiant Typhoon Sight Trance is a good addition for draw power that also helps fill the graveyard with spells. Okay, just for context, for the people that are that don't know, Radiant Typhoon Sight Trance is a quick play spell that says activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Draw 2 cards, then discard 1 Radiant Typhoon card or quick play spell card, or if you do not have any, discard your entire hand. So it's basically, it's an Allure of Darkness for quick play spells, but the card goes to the graveyard. And then add 1 Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So basically what they're doing is they're playing 3 copies of this and 1 copy of MST, because that means if you draw multiple copies of the Sight Trance, you can actually use both of them. And that puts you to 3 spells in the graveyard already. So you go activate 1, draw 2, discard a quick play spell, activate the other one to add MST from your deck to your hand. There you go, 3 spells in the graveyard. Which I think is pretty interesting, because I mean, Sky Striker, you got Linkage, you got Widow Anchor, you got Lemnis Gate, you got Hornet Drones. They play Droplets, Called by the Grave. Like, that's in a crazy amount of quick play spells that you can do. And obviously, this is a quick play spell itself. So if you just draw 2 copies of this, then you can also discard 1 for the other. So yeah, it's a pretty cool package, I think. So they play a total of 6, 9, 15, 16, 18 quick play spells. Yeah, that's cool and all, but it still dies to draw. I mean, you can still, this one you can activate in the draw phase, which is nice. You can play around draw with it a little bit, and then you at least start the game with full setup in the graveyard. It's nice. So it's a way to increase consistency and power in the deck, which I think is interesting. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing in Sky Striker. So each effect of Radiant Typhoon Side Trance could be used once per turn. So running 1 Mystical Space Typhoon in the deck allows Side Trance to be activated twice, which would swiftly fill the graveyard with 3 spells. Mystical Space Typhoon is decent in the current metagame. The standard Yummy setup would technically would typically have Surprise, while K9 would have Snow Devil. So yeah, that's true. MST is a solid card in the current format. I think both going first and second, right? Because if you go first and you have an MST next to your normal setup, being able to use it on, I mean, in the OCG, that's more relevant than for us in the TCG. But like, for example, the Vanquish Soul field spell, hitting it with MST is pretty clutch. Hitting a Yummy field spell with MST is pretty good. When, like, let's say they go minion, try to revive, you just pop it. We have Tanky in Lunalight that you can just MST. There's a couple of matchups where like having an MST in your case for K9, like a lot of decks where an MST is just like not bad. And even if you're playing against a deck that doesn't really have like quick play spell, like continuous spells or field spells that you can pop. Let's say you're playing against a Mitsurugi deck, for example, or a Draco Tail deck. If you go first and you have an MST set, like, you can still pop the stuff that they set during their turn, right? Like, if the Draco Tail player sets a spell card, you can pop it. If the Draco Tail player sets a trap card, you can pop it in the end phase. If the Mitsurugi player doesn't manage to actually kill you, and then they set prayers for your turn, you just pop it in the end phase. Like, I think being able to just play 1 MST, but then access this a lot of, like, very consistently, is a pretty neat concept that they're using here. And I think it shouldn't be underestimated. So I think that's pretty awesome. Other than that, it's a pretty classic Sky Striker deck. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the main thing that's going to decide whether this deck is going to be good or not in the TCG is how much people respect it, how much people play Droll Lockbird. Because Droll Lockbird, my personal prediction is Droll Lockbird is going to be a pretty good side deck card for the next TCG format, which means that Sky Striker is gonna struggle post-side a little bit. But maybe it's overall okay. I mean, ultimately, there was someone who made top 8 at Euros with Sky Striker even during the format where everyone was main decking Droll Lockbird, right? As well as, of course, Sky Striker got top 4 in the World Championships, where people also side decked a decent amount of Droll Lockbird. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I personally, as a fan of Sky Striker, obviously, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to try this version as well, because I think that idea is pretty awesome. Other than that, conclusion, deck build pack Phantom Revengers had little to no impact on the current metagame, and structure deck Power of Fellows packed a weak punch. The metagame remains unchanged, with Yummy in the lead and K9 Vanquish Soul trailing behind. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is exactly why I'm very happy the TCG has made the decision to hit both of these decks, even if it was just a little bit. But they hit both of, I mean, they hit Vanquish Soul harder than Yummy, but they made the decision to hit these decks ahead of time, basically ahead of schedule, because both of these decks would have been incredibly dominant if they had not hit them at all. So the fact that we are getting decent hits to both Yummy and Vanquish Soul before Doom of Dimension is even out is going to give us, I feel like, a much better chance to actually compete with those decks. Instead, like in the OCG, these decks have just been dominating forever, and everything that comes out that isn't like broken just doesn't really stand a chance. So I mean, I've said this before. I think the TCG Banlist approach is, in my opinion, much superior. So I'm I'm just repeating myself there, but I hope their ban list is going to shake things up a little bit. They're going to get the announcement next week, and who knows? Maybe it'll make the other decks a little bit more playable.